Yeah, just a quick review of the PROcure Epsom salt rub gel. So why would you consider using something like this? I mean, why would you want to, go out and buy it and try it? Well, this is a lot of time mainly for like muscular pain. So let's say, you didn't this weekend you did a lot of gardening, a lot of bending over, or maybe you helped a friend move, did a lot of lifting, and you woke up Monday morning like, oh my God, my back, your muscles are sore, or they're hurting, they're in spasm. This is something that you could try for that. So that's one of the main reasons you would use this. So what's in it? I mean, how does this stuff work? Well, anytime you're considering using a product like this to get rid of pain, you need to ask yourself one question. What's the active ingredients in the product? So what exactly is an active ingredient? Well, it's any ingredient that has a direct biological effect or pharmacological activity in your body. In other words, these are the ingredients in the product that really makes it work, that really do the heavy lifting. So anyway, in the case of PROcure Epsom Salt Rub Gel, as far as I can tell, the main active ingredient is magnesium sulfate. So how does that work to help with your pain? Well, magnesium sulfate blocks these NMDA receptors, okay? Now, NMDA receptors are involved in pain perception. So this stuff helps block that so that you don't perceive the pain. So that's kind of how that works. So the other big question is, does this give you permanent or temporary relief? Well, I think if your problem is mainly muscular, I think a lot of times this can give you permanent relief. So let's go back to the example of, you're helping a friend move, did a lot of lifting, your muscles are sore, maybe they're painful, they're in spasm. Well, if you have, a lot of times when muscles are in pain, they go into spasm, and then the spasm creates more pain, and the pain creates more spasm. So what you have going on is this pain, spasm, pain cycle. So what you can do is you can actually break that up by using something like this. So, you put this on one time, it breaks up the cycle, and then you're kind of back where you started. Sometimes you need to do it a couple times. But that's, I think, where you get permanent relief. With something like this, mainly a muscular component. Fortunately, a lot of conditions we have, like, let's say knee arthritis, that's something that's kind of a chronic long-term condition. But I think there's a way you can actually use a product like this to actually get yourself some long-term relief. So you got to do a couple things. You'll use the lotion, but there's other things, like let's say knee arthritis. What else do we know helps and gets rid of the pain from knee arthritis? Well, exercise. That's a proven treatment. We know if your knee gets stronger and get more joint stability, it gets more flexible. We know you feel better, it works better, and the pain goes away. But hey, you can't do any exercise right now because your knee hurts. Okay, and you can use this with like the shoulder as well, or your back or whatever. So what you do is you put some of this lotion on, pain goes down or it goes away altogether. Now you have a window of opportunity to go ahead and do some exercises, okay? So for instance, let's say you have knee arthritis. You put this on, hey, my knee feels better, I can move it better, a lot less pain. Let's do some exercise. So let's say, I'll get these from Bulletproof Your Knee book. You would want to do like a quadriceps exercise. Maybe just do one exercise for your quads. Why your quadriceps? Well, this big muscle on the top of your leg called your quadriceps, it's a big stabilizer of your knee joint. Just about any knee problem you can name, I can probably show you a study where researchers have taken people with that problem, they've looked at all the muscles around the knee, and they find problems with just the quadriceps muscle. So for some reason it takes a hit. I'll give you an example. If you have any kind of swelling, another study demonstrated that even as little as 20 milliliters of fluid in your knee, which is just over a tablespoon, is enough to decrease the strength of your quadriceps muscle. So if you have any kind of acute or long-term swelling, it's going to take its toll on your quadriceps muscle. Ligament problems, if you tore your ACL, they're finding problems with the quadriceps muscle. Injured leg was decreased by 25 to 30%. Same thing with like the posterior cruciate ligament, medial collateral ligament. Knee pain, any kind of non-specific knee pain you have will decrease your quadriceps strength. Here's knee arthritis in the quadricep. So if you go ahead and you Google like knee arthritis and quadriceps strength, you're going to find just about every study showing that if you have knee arthritis, you probably have quadriceps weakness. And likewise, there are randomized controlled trials showing that if you go ahead and take a bunch of people with knee arthritis and you strengthen just their quads, their pain starts to go away. And some of these studies are even showing that the people with the stronger quads have least progression of their knee arthritis. So here again, knee problem, okay, now you can opportunity to strengthen your quads. Other things you can do, for example, knee flexibility. I think that's what this chapter is about. We all know your knee bends and straightens, but a lot of people know your knee actually rotates. So about the last 10 to 15 degrees of you straightening your leg out, your knee actually rotates laterally or out to the side. So that's a little accessory motion that your knee has to have to function perfectly. And here's a little test to see if you have that accessory motion. But that's something that you would want to do with some stretches. Like I say, put the cream on, able to do these stretches week by week. As your knee gets stronger, you get more joint stability, your knee flexible, moves more freely. That's where you get the long-term relief. So anyway, good product. Check it out.